It's a 1986 Austin-Rover brochure. Cars, well, yeah, for the most part they are. Austin-Rover and the Rover 800. Of course, 1986 was when the Rover 800 first appeared, and at the very beginning of the brochure, here you have it. Rover 800. Look at this. There you go. Now this was being shouted from the rooftops at that point. This is Austin-Rover's great white hope for the 1980s, co-developed by Honda, and Honda provided all the V6 engines, including the 2.5 litre, which was the first one that went into the car, and many people would comment that it was basically the wrong engine. Much better later on when the 827 came out. The 825 was always a bit too high revving, a bit too peaky. Would have been great in a sports car. Yeah, that would have been a great idea, wouldn't it? Never mind. Dashboard, look at that, all straight lines. This is the 6-pack dashboard that they had until about 1989, and then they got rid of a couple of the gauges. My car downstairs is the 825, and it's only got the 4-gauge dashboard. Hey, didn't know that I was a Rover driver, did you? Yeah, sorry about that. 825, and then you've got the Sterling. Sterling was the top end one, and Sterling was also the name that obviously all the USA cars had, and not a lot of people were convinced over there that that blend of Japanese reliability and English craftsmanship was really, yeah. CCV, God, why didn't they build that? Why didn't they build that? Stunning looking car today. I guess, well, you know, it was Rover. Rover and Austin in the 80s were on a one-way trip towards self-destruction. They just liked to do things wrong. SD1. Well, isn't it strange to have the Rover SD1 and the Rover 800 in the same brochure? Obviously Rover were hedging their bets a little bit. Look at that. 2300, 2600, vanden-plas. There's the straight 6 engines, or the Rover Vitesse with its 3.5 litre V8. Yeah, hell of a car. What would you have, the Rover 825 or the Vitesse? Why am I even asking that question? 200 series, this is what Hyacinth Bouquet drove in Keeping Up Appearances. This was basically a Honda with Rover badges on it, and a little bit of an up-contented interior. Up-contented even, up-contented isn't a word. Yeah, various trim levels. These fantastic Rover wheel trims with all the little holes in them. Real 80s throwback there. Vanden-plas. Yeah, our Rover and Austin were pretty keen on the vanden-plas identity all the way through the 80s. In America, obviously, you got it on the Jaguars as well. Not over here. Vitesse somehow managing to get in on the act as well on the 200 series. Not quite as convincing on this car as it was on the SD1. So then you go straight into the Mini from the 200 series, and well, the Mini at that point was starting to actually be marketed as a lifestyle machine rather than just an economy car like it always had done in the past. Peculiar use of the word Mayfair and the name Mayfair in the 80s. Rover had this thing about gentlemen's publications and the name being cross-applied onto cars, which, well, weren't quite so risque. Anyway, so, Metro, City, City X, Automatic, Mayfair again. Well, I suppose Ford had Fiesta, which is another, MG. Well, MG back in the 1980s meant red piping on the seats and big graphics down the side of the car, and obviously the Metro Turbo, which here we go, which said turbo on the seat, which is very, very important. This was the all-white model you could get with the colour-coded bumpers and the sort of grey tape stripe down the side. I always thought these were fantastic things. Blow-through turbocharger as well, which was an engineering tour de force. Vanden-plas, yeah, that's a Metro with bits of wood in it basically. And on next to the Maestro. Maestro Mayfair there, Maestro MG. MG Maestro at this point was fitted with the 2 litre engine rather than the 1.6, which had the impossible to balance twin carburetors on them. The 2 litre actually made it quite a quick machine. but not as quick as the Turbo, which is not quite ready for this brochure yet. Turbo came out a little bit later on, but that looks fantastic. Maybe not. Vanden-plas, yes. That's your typical upmarket vanden-plas customer standing there. Sort of, well, James Bond if they had severe budget cuts, I suppose. Again, this was too late for the talking dashboard that the earlier ones had. But it's still early enough to have those fantastic wheels, the like of which we will never ever see again. On to the Montego. Well, there's a Montego on a banked track, not something you're likely to see every day. Turbo 1.3 base model, still with these really interesting wheels, steel wheels. I'd love those to come back. Wheel trims with lots and lots of little holes in, as I say, an Austin-Rover specialty of the 80s. The Montego Mayfair. Montego Mayfair, you deserve to arrive in style. Well, yeah, you do, but hey, you're still the Montego. 2 litre EFI MG. And the Turbo, again, all white with a little turbo. Should have been in mirror writing like on the BMW 2002. Vanden-plas EFI. Cool, we've got some style here. It's tough at the top. Yep, definitely CEO material driving around in a Montego. Montego Estates. And that's, well, we're up to the end of the brochure now. We're starting to look at the family unit and all the marvellous ways in which I can use their exciting new Rover. A guy with a Cray supercomputer nailed to his head. Leisure lifestyle. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Buy an MG Metro and go windsurfing. Yep. Rover and Caravan. Yeah, pretty much what you'd expect. And there you go, there's a whole team who care a great deal about your car. Well, yep, maybe in the 80s, but a disappointing number of people give a damn about Austin-Rover these days. Rover and Caravan, twin axle, check him out. And the Metro 6R4, well, things like that which really should have been marketed more heavily. You know, lifestyle was one thing, but exciting, powerful cars was something that yeah, Rover and Austin probably should have pushed a little bit harder during the 80s. And the seats and the colours, and oh, look at that, champagne beige, Oporto red, Targa red, burgundy red. Wow, that's brown really, let's be honest. So there you go, 1986. July, August, September, October. Every quarter was an exciting one in the 1980s.